since I did make a shout out video for him. I think I wanna call you from now on Kuya.
Oh.
Kuya in English is big brother, because big brother is like they call this like long.
Yeah, it's long.
It's long. So Kuya, shout out Kuya Gray.
Our topic today, our topic's gonna be things that you might not know about the Philippines. The first thing I wanted to discuss, since I'm driving, I just thought about it. It's like these buses, these big series buses, and also the vans, the public transportation here in the province. One thing that you would want to know is these buses and these vans, when they travel here in the province, they fly. I mean, I'm talking, they go really fast on these curves here where you're not supposed to pass. They'll pass, like these buses right here. You know, so just know that if you're coming here, that's your plan is to ride these buses and van, you really have to have a strong heart. You know, my recommendation is hire a van, like get a private van with a driver. It's gonna cost you more, but I think it's worth it, because you can tell the driver that you don't need to be in a rush, slow down. Because the thing here in the province is they are always getting into accidents because they're rushing. You know, they're rushing to go from one spot to another to get more passengers. So that's why I recommend hire a private van and hire a private driver. Spend a little money for your safety. That's why Dazzle and I, we were in a hurry to buy our own car, because I'm a safe driver. I'm a very defensive driver. So I know that if I'm driving, we're gonna be okay. But when Dazzle and I used to ride the public transportation here, man, it was scary at times. One time we were even coming from Iloilo, right, babe?
Mm-mm.
And we were coming from Iloilo, and our driver was just like passing everyone. He's passing people on the left, he's passing people on the right, and then he even hit a dog. And you know how Dazzle and I, we love dogs, you know, Totoy and Chloe, and we just love them. And he even just smiled, like he laughed about it, like
it's the dog's fault.
like it's the dog's fault. And I'm like, man, you know, that really upset Dazzle and I. That's why I say, you know, it's better to ride your own private vehicle. Spend a little bit of money, because these vans or these buses here, they just don't follow the rules here. Another thing that you might not know, like here in the province of Aklan, there's a lot of motorcycle groups here that you can join, and you don't even need a big bike to join, like a 125cc Yamaha. You know, you're good to go. There's a lot of groups here that you can join on Facebook, and they do rides all the time. They'll do rides here in Aklan province, they'll do rides in Antique province, and even Iloilo. So that's fun, you know, fun to join groups like that. And I know, like I belong to a retired military group here in Philippines. Those guys, they actually have big bikes. You know, some bikes 300cc and above are the bikes that they ride. Really big, fast bikes. And they do travel in groups. I know they just finished a tour of Luzon. You know, they traveled all over Luzon. I know they did Mindanao. So if you're into that, you know, you can join those groups here and have fun riding. There's actually one group that Dazzle and I are eager to join. It's called the Jimny group.
Yes.
They ride Suzuki Jimneys here in the Philippines, and what they do is they do overlanding, they do camping. A lot of them put a tent on top of the Jimny. A Jimny is like a little Jeep. But here in the Philippines, you can buy a Jimny. Of course, the basic Jimny, automatic. You can buy them for like 1.3 million. So a little over $20,000 you can get them. And then you can build it up. You can soup it up to your liking. And there's a lot of gear that you can get. And that's one of Dazzle and I's dream someday. You know, we're saving up money for our Jimny because we wanted to travel the Philippines on a Jimny. I think that would be cool, and then join those groups. I know they had a Jimny Fest, is what they call it, 2023 Jimny Fest, and there was over 500 Jimnys, different colors. You know, they all went to these campgrounds, and it was like an event. You know, so that we're eager to join that group. Another thing that you might not know here in the Philippines is pedestrian lanes. And I don't think even it matters if it's in the city or in the province. Maybe in the city, the pedestrian lanes, because I know the lights have a walking, you know, that stop or walk. So it might be a little safer in the city, because I know they do jaywalking in the city too. You get a ticket, so you might get a ticket if it's not if you don't stop at a pedestrian lane in the city, maybe in Manila or Cebu. But here in the province, when you see a pedestrian lane here in the province, people here don't stop for pedestrians. It don't even matter. Like, I know at Liana School even, there's a pedestrian lane there. And you mind it, this is a school zone too. You know, there's a school zone, there's a pedestrian lane, kids, little kids walking in the pedestrian lane in their uniform even. People do not stop for the kids. As a matter of fact, if they see the kid waiting to cross, they'll even speed up. Because that happened to Dazzle, you know, the other day. She was waiting on the pedestrian lane by Liana School, and this guy, instead of like slowing down, stopping before the pedestrian lane, he actually sped up. So it's good to know that, because for you, you know, if you come here, you're an expat, you're gonna cross a pedestrian lane, that might surprise you, you know, that might get you upset. So just know that pedestrian lanes here are ignored by drivers, especially the motorbikes. I've noticed that they really don't care about the pedestrian lane. In the highways here even, they won't slow down or they won't stop for a pedestrian. Another thing that you might not know here in the Philippines, unlike in the US, if you go to like a government agency, really if you go to any business even, you can write suggestions. Often the places of business in the United States, they like hearing suggestions from their patrons or for their customers. Here in the Philippines, you're gonna find out, especially for government agencies, if you have a suggestion, you want to talk to a supervisor, you want to write down your suggestion, they will be ignored here. Suggestions here will be ignored. As a matter of fact, if you talk to like somebody in that government agency, a lot of times you might even offend them, you know. So be careful with that, because you might have a good intention, like your suggestions might be a good suggestion, but when you go to these government agencies, my recommendation is just get your business done and just be happy that your whatever you needed is done. Like, let's say your driver's license, because that's common here. Driver's license here, to get a driver's license or to get a renewal of driver's license, that could take a day or two here. It's a pain to get your driver's license renewal here. And then for you to go up to the manager, whoever in charge of the LTO here, and say you have a recommendation, they're just gonna look at you and then okay, they'll just say okay, but they're basically gonna blow you off. Another thing that's common here with Filipinos is Filipinos don't like to admit their mistakes. There's a tendency here to blame others, even though it's obvious that a mistake or something happens is caused by that Filipino. They just do not like to admit their mistakes. Like me, you know, if I had a mistake, I'll raise my hand. Hey, my fault. You know, it's like my mistake. I'm sorry. And that's another thing. Very seldom that you'll hear a Filipino say, I'm sorry, that it's my fault. Just don't expect that coming from a Filipino.
Babe, you're lucky to meet me, babe, because I say sorry.
You say sorry. Another thing that you might not know here in the Philippines that might surprise you when you meet Filipinos here is they might ask you things like how much is your monthly pension? Or if you buy a car, they'll ask you, did you pay cash? Or is your car installment? To me, those kind of information are private. You know, in the United States, we just don't ask people how much money they make or things that we do as far as when we get a car. We don't ask people that if they paid cash for the car or if is the car on installment, because why should that matter? But here in the Philippines, it happens. Don't be surprised if you get asked those questions. Another thing that you might not know here in the Philippines, there's a lot of good websites with good intentions when they start out that give out good information about the Philippines or maybe about transportation here in the Philippines. Websites that government websites even that start out having good information. But what happens with a lot of the websites, they don't end up getting updated. They become outdated really fast. So when you go online and you search for things, you'll find websites here in the Philippines that haven't been updated in like months, sometimes years, which is unfortunate because some of the websites have good information in the beginning. Thank you for watching.
We'll see you in our next video.